Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mike Learns Japanese. This one's a special one because we've hit 2,000 hours of studying Japanese using the website called Link. And no, this is not a sponsored video. It's just, if you guys have never watched my channel before, you would know that that's my main way of learning Japanese, and it has been that way since about 2023. So I finally hit 2,000 hours of actual study using that website since I've been going full in with reading in Japanese. Instead of like just only doing flashcards, which I used to do in the past, I switched to just mainly reading and listening. And what I like about this website is that it tracks everything. Also, the kind of, it coincides, like I feel like 2023. So even though I've been studying Japanese since 2019, I feel like I didn't really start until 2023. Because I feel like when I switched to exclusively reading and listening, I feel like that's when the progress really started to happen for me. You know, if you didn't watch my previous videos, before I started using Link, completely in 2023, I dabbled in that, but I also mostly did flashcards using things like Anki. I used some Wanikani for a while. I used a website called JPDB, yeah, which also had like Anki flashcards on it. And so I just did a lot of mixture of that kind of stuff. Yeah, just learning through flashcards. So like I did retain some a lot of information through that, but I feel like, yeah, when I started reading as much as I possibly could, I started to get that dopamine spike of like, holy crap, this is actually working. Like this feels really good. And so, yeah, not a sponsored video or anything, but it's just, I've been using Link because it's just been a, good website to achieve that. So Link just allows you to import like the content that you like. So mainly things like YouTube videos or any text that you can import, right? Any text at all. So I would say most of my study has been through, yeah, like YouTube videos with like subtitles, or it's through visual novels. So right now I'm trying to get through more of Clannad, but I've read a lot of visual novels, just importing them into Link and just following along. And that has just been like so freaking fun for me. And the reason why I was so drawn to this is because not only was I watching like my progress go up, I've related to this to my gamer score on Xbox. So if any of you guys are gamers, right? So back in the day, I used to be huge into playing like Xbox. And so you would have achievements, and every achievement that you earned on Xbox, your gamer score would go up. And I think I had a gamer score of like 30,000. It felt like I was addicted to just trying to make numbers go up. This is why video games are addicting as well. So like just numbers going up is always fun. That's what Link has done for like me. Watching all of my stats and my numbers go up is so motivating to me. I know it has nothing to do with language learning, like, just that alone. But seeing my progress in front of me, knowing this is what I've done, it's addicting. When I started like seeing those numbers stack up, I was like, oh man, I want to keep doing this. Okay, so I mean, before we get into the meat and bones, I'm just gonna show you like this is what I do every day. Here's the transcript to Clannad. Literally, I just like read it, right? I don't know why it moved me so ahead, but whenever there's a blue word, that's a word that I don't know, right? So I just read it. So doste, and then what does this say? Kikikaisu. Okay. So to listen repeatedly. Okay, so I just mark it. I feel like I probably have like learned that word before, but yeah, I just look it up, and next time I see it, I'm like, oh, do I recognize it? Okay. And what's cool is like with things like visual novels, a lot of these words will be used over and over again. And so I'm like, by the time I've seen it like the 10th time, I'm like, all right, I know this word already. So I can just mark it as known. And that's basically what it is. Do I forget sometimes? Yes, like you're always going to forget words. But if you just keep looking them up, eventually it just soaks in and you just remember it. That was kind of the breakthrough I had when I started using Link, because like I realized that, wait, this is how I learned like hiragana and katakana, right? I just like seen it a bunch of times, and the more that you read it, you're just gonna naturally remember it. And plus I got tired of the flashcard grind, right? I really did. I got super tired of the flashcard grind, but I've actually been using flashcards lately. Believe it or not, I will get into that. We're gonna get into it. We got a whole thing here. Might be a longer video. We'll see. I'm gonna try to hurry up, all right? Let's take a look at our stats. So we got 1 million coins, which is a nice number, right? 1 million coins. And coins on Link, it's really just a flex. It doesn't really do anything. Again, it's just numbers going up. The only thing it matters is that there's like leaderboards when it comes to challenges, as you can see right here, and it'll show like their coins. And so it's like, oh, I have more coins because I've used Link more than you. That's all it really does. We have 5.5 million words of reading. This is all time. So most of it is, again, since 2023. Nice big fat 2026,000. That's including reading, listening, everything that I do on this website is included in this study time. But out of that time, I have 174 hours of listening. A lot of that is passive listening, but it also includes like if I'm watching a YouTube video, that counts as listening. Or if I'm listening to a podcast and following the transcript and reading the transcript, so that counts as reading and listening. It's not all passive, but lately what I've been changing is I've been trying to do a lot more passive listening anytime that I go on a walk or have any free time where I'm doing anything. It really doesn't matter. I could be playing a game, which I should not be doing. I will just like listen to a podcast, or I'll listen to like some of my lessons, people doing interviews. And lately I've been getting up out of bed, putting my headphones in, just listening to podcasts. So while I'm making breakfast or eating breakfast or anything, I'm listening to Japanese. So this number has been really rising up lately, but this used to be a lot lower. Well over 1,000 hours. The bulk of my time has been active reading, that 5 million words of reading. I've actually been reading less and listening more as of lately, and it's really hard to balance it, but I want to do more reading than I have lately. I feel like I kind of been just like slacking on it a little bit, and gotta stop. We gotta kick it back into gear. But it says my reading speed is 76. If you click here, it says like, I guess this is the average of months. I don't know how it works, because like it says I have 89 here and it like fluctuates. So 100. So I think it's the average of like my whole time. So it's really gone up and down. I don't know how accurate this is. It's like it was 77 here, and then it's gone down to 30, and then I'm 101 and then 101. So I don't, it's been increasing kind of, but not. So I don't know if that's accurate. I don't believe all these stats are completely accurate, but I think they're pretty close. I think they're as close as they probably can get. And so overall I have 80,000 links created, which is basically any of those blue words. That means I clicked on basically something that I didn't know and I created it. So 80,000 out of that. And so you're gonna notice something pretty glaring issue with these stats here. Okay, wait, whoa, 472 words of writing and 4 hours and 17 minutes of speaking only? That sounds like a big problem, right? Well, this is the reason why that's so low, is because, well, like there's almost nothing on the website that can make those go up. Until recently, you have to manually log in your hours of speaking, so it's not going to be on there. I think the only other way to make your hours of speaking go up on this website is by taking tutoring. I think that's when it goes up, is because there is tutoring on here that you can do, and I think if you take those, then that'll probably increase your hours of speaking. But this is like what I've manually logged. So I've done a little bit of speaking, not very much. They have this new AI Links AI thing, which is actually pretty interesting. It's like a chatbot, AI, AI's in everything these days, but anything that I type into that, it's going to count towards my words of writing. And what's cool about that as well, so like I can just say something like, let's talk about my last lesson. I think it'll like actually give me stuff. Okay, no, it's not that smart. I thought it was smarter than that. I thought it was gonna actually, but you can talk about your lessons. I know that much. And so anything that I read in here, I can actually use the link functionality on the chat bot, so I can link words that it says, and it knows my level as well. So I think honestly this is a recent feature that was just added not too long ago, and I think it's really cool. So anything I type, I think in Japanese, it'll count towards reading and my writing. So I've only used it a little bit. I haven't really dabbled in it a lot, but I think it's pretty cool because it'll also correct you and stuff too. So that's kind of a new development on Link. They've really been going heavy on AI, so yeah. But also AI is literally in everything. Like, you can't even Google without AI. For this video today, I actually used ChatGPT to help guide this video. I asked it to create some bullet points because I've also been using ChatGPT a little bit to help, and I'm gonna get into it, right? There's a reason why I've been using ChatGPT a little bit as of recently, because it's been a great like tool of studying as well. But I get it that there's people out there that like absolutely despise AI no matter what, but it's literally in your face all the time. Like Google like literally uses AI no matter what you do now, which I thought was like really crazy. So it's in your face no matter what. But this is gonna help me stay uniform here, even though this video might be pretty long. So now that you've seen my stats on Link, I'm going to talk about them. We're going to talk about my experiences of like what I feel about my level and where I'm at. I forgot to mention as well, so like I have obviously more hours of studying Japanese, So anything that I did basically before 2023 was all what I think I talked about in the past, you know, using Anki and things like that. So it's really hard to say exactly how many hours I have of studying Japanese altogether. I don't think it's 3,000, but it's probably somewhere in the 2,500 to 3,000 range, because my big issue that I did before that is I would only spend like 30 minutes to an hour a day studying Japanese. So like, that's not long at all. And that was a big mistake that I made. So like, yes, it's good that I did anything at all, but you know, yeah, when you start adding like 2 to 3 hours a day, you start making progress. So I don't know my actual hours of study, and there's no way for me to possibly know that, but I really do think it's probably closer to like anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000. And also, that is not including like me watching a random anime episode that's not being tracked, which is like me just sitting down in front of my TV watching anime, or playing a game like just in Japanese on a plane, or just like while I'm traveling. It's really hard to say exactly how many hours. I could just say, okay, 3,000 hours, but a lot of those hours I feel like weren't the best spent. So it just feels like I have 2,000 true hours of learning Japanese. And it's all just like comprehensible input using links. So I said I've been using ChatGPT and helping, right? My main goal is becoming a confident speaker. So I feel like right now is like the thing that I want to do the most is get better at speaking. I've actually been taking tutoring lessons. I've taken about 50 lessons maybe in total. I like 50-minute sessions all in total. I did some lessons last year, but I've been doing most of my lessons this year, and I have kind of like stopped doing it for a few months. But when I started doing them, especially this year, like it was helping. Like talking to a teacher, we would just like talk about my day and just stuff like that. And then they would like take me through some grammar points. I don't really like it when we use the textbooks, like when they want to use Genki or something like that, like a tutor. It bores me. I don't really like it because I don't want to talk like Genki, but I have the most fun like tutoring when we're just talking about anything. That feeling of just being engaged, even though I don't know, like I can't speak a lot of Japanese. It's very fun to just like feel like you're having a meaningful conversation with somebody. So that's one thing that I want to focus on from now on, is mostly just conversations. And I feel like I kind of know what I want out of tutoring. But one of the most frustrating lessons that I've had in my tutoring sessions, my recent ones, is that like I have these words that I really, really want to say, right? And I want to get my point across, but they just don't come out. But when the tutor tells me, oh, like, okay, this is how you say something, I'm like, I can understand it perfectly. It's the most frustrating thing in the freaking world, because I know we could be having this great conversation, but I just can't say what I want to say. That is my number one goal for 2026. I really, really want to start making videos in Japanese. I really, really want to start actually feeling confident speaking Japanese, because like I can understand what they tell me. That's what pisses me off so much. So what I realized, and you know, this has been a huge debate, right? Comprehensible input. Is it enough just to do comprehensible input? Well, I can only speak on my experience of doing 2,000 hours on Link, which is only comprehensible input, right? I honestly I think you do have to speak. I really do, and it just makes the most sense. I'm on the side of, if you want to get better at speaking, you need to speak more. There's been people that are like, well, I've just started speaking naturally. I've seen a few people online talk about that, how they immersed so much that they just started speaking. And there's even examples of people that said it, right? Like they could be lying. Maybe I haven't got there yet. You know, that's the thing that gets me the most, is like, I don't know, maybe I just haven't done enough, because 2,000 hours in the scheme of things is really not that long. If I pull out the calculations, right? I've been doing like the reading listening approach since 2023 without flashcards. So let's just say that's been 3 years. So 3 times 365, 1,095 days, right? Okay. And this is give or take, right? It's not perfect. But if I divide my hours to how many days I have, it translates to almost 2 hours of studying per day for 3 years. That's still not that much time. I'm a full-time YouTuber. I have been forever. So I've done an average of almost 2 hours a day. So some days I do 4 hours. Like a lot of days I'll do 3 hours. But on the average, this is basically how much I've studied on average. It's really not that much. So I can't help but think that I should have done more. I'm not the best at managing my time. I've literally made a video talking about this. We'll look at all your phone screen time. Like I said, that video was for me too. It's still something that I'm always working on, trying to find more time to study Japanese, because Japanese takes a lot of time. And it's another reason why I don't like to think in terms of years, but I like to think in terms of how many actual hours have I spent learning the language. And that's why I like that this website tracks it all, because I know, I can see it. It's right here, how much I've actually studied. I really do think I could have done more, and that's something that I want to always keep working on, is doing as much as I possibly can. You know, that means putting the games down, or putting the freaking Instagram or TikTok, whatever it is that you do, putting it down. I'm just talking for everyone here, but speaking, as of recently, I've just wanted to speak a lot more. And lately I finally figured out like a way to make progress when it comes to my speaking. So when I started doing the tutoring lessons, I wasn't really writing sentences down. I think what I want to do from now on is anytime that I mess up something, I want my tutor to write it down, and I want to put it in flashcards, because like I actually have been doing flashcards recently. I've been using Migaku more recently. Yes, I am partnered with Migaku. Because of that, I've been using a lot more. And well, I just like it in general, but I've been actually using the flashcards, not just to learn single words, but to actually learn sentences that I want to say. And that's actually where ChatGPT has been coming in recently. I've been having it generate like natural sayings that I wanted to do, and it's been helping a lot lately. Now, you don't need Migaku to do that, but I've personally just been using Migaku. So this is a very recent development. Just within the last few months, I started doing this. I have a 57, so actually I have a 57-day streak of doing reviews, and I have how many cards? See, one thing I don't like about Migaku is that they don't tell you all the stats. That's one thing I wish they would change more. I missed it. It's right here. So I have 337 sentence cards that I've been adding. So these are sentences that I just have ChatGPT make me sentences that I would say every day. Right, that are natural and not using super polite robotic Japanese. And that's really ironic considering that this is a robot doing it. I realize lately, when I'm not doing a tutoring lesson, I just need to find a way to speak more. I'm very shy as well, which sucks. It would be beneficial if I made more Japanese friends. It would be a lot better than doing this, surely. Or if I lived in Japan, but I don't live in Japan, nor do I have any Japanese people around here to speak to, except for maybe one or two at a college, maybe. I feel like lately doing these flashcards have really been helping me start to transform that feeling that I had of being frustrated of not being able to say the words. I'm actually starting to be able to put the pieces together. So I've done all this immersion, right? It's really helped me with understanding. My comprehension is shot up. My main thing is I can understand my tutor. I understand everything they're saying almost. I just can't say what I want to say. Making these cards, which has been really easy because again, I'm not making the sentences myself. It would be more beneficial if I actually did make the flashcards myself, if I actually made the sentences. And I have made a couple of things that okay, how do I say this? And then I just ask ChatGPT, how do I actually say what I want to say in natural Japanese? And then I'll turn that to a flashcard. But a lot of it's just been them generating lists. So yeah, this is proof that I've actually been doing this for 57 days. For a while, I was adding 15 new sentence cards a day, but I kind of stopped for a bit because my reviews were getting crazy. And I started getting flashbacks. Started getting flashbacks of all the review creeps. And I'm okay, all right, I don't want that. I don't want to just be nothing but reviews. So I've been taking it easy. Although 15 new cards a day was pretty, it was getting kind of intense for me when it comes to flashcards. I prefer just to read and just forget about things. I just want to read. So the way that I've been doing my flashcards is that I will put the English on the front. That way I have to translate it into Japanese. And I know that translation is not the best thing or whatever, but I feel doing it this way, not only is it challenging, but it really does help me remember. I might change the format of cards in the future, but right now, this is what I've been doing. So it's using grammar patterns that are gonna be useful. So when I've got time, I listen to music or play games and stuff. So hima na toki ongaku kitari game toka shiteru.
Hima na toki wa ongaku kitari game toka shiteru.
Yeah, so forgive me if my accent wasn't the best. But see, I actually remembered that, right? So hima na toki wa ongaku kitari game toka shiteru. I just basically been doing this, and again, it's text to speech. One thing that I do like about Migaku is that it makes creating these flashcards really, really easy. It gives you text to speech too. That's really, really nice, and they do have AI features as well. That they'll fill out pictures and stuff. But I've been doing really, really basic cards. But you can have them generate pictures and stuff like that. So to help you associate the words. But I'm not doing flashcards in the sense of where I'm just learning one word. I'm literally trying to learn an entire sentence. And so the more that I've been doing these sentences, the more it's been easier for me to start switching my brain into Japanese. And I have not done a tutor lesson since I've been doing these, like, what, 300 cards or something like that. So I really think that by the next time I start doing my tutoring lessons, I think I'm going to be able to say a lot more than I did. And I'm going to update you guys on that, by the way, whenever it does happen. I'm really excited because I really feel like this has been helping, but it would be better if this was like not text-to-speech. It's not perfect, right? It's not always going to get the pitch accent right, but I'm kind of okay with it, right? I know that ChatGPT isn't always like super accurate, but I think it's better than nothing. So this is what I've been doing to help me like get my speaking up more. At the end of the day, you have to talk to people, and I realize that. So AI is never going to replace people. Now that I've been doing these cards and stuff like that, I know now that I want my teachers to, like, whenever I say something wrong, I literally want to make a flashcard and I want to put it in my deck. And I'm just going to keep it going. So that way I will correct myself, because I got into the bad habit to where like I wasn't really learning from my mistakes. Like I was like too proud. I'm like, you know, it's fine. I'll just like, I'll just absorb it next time. Right. And it'll just like come to me. But I realized if I want to get better at speaking, I have to freaking speak more. So whenever I say something wrong, or if I'm having trouble trying to come up with what to say, I will have my tutor write it, and I'm going to put it in my shadowing deck, and then I'm just going to shadow it. Like if maybe I could record them and like have them like make a sound file and make it better to where like I can hear their voice as I read it. I just think this has been a great exercise of just like forcing myself to do it. And if I don't know it, then I just say I don't know it, and I'm just going to keep hearing it until I get it right. It's actually really cool because the more that I've been doing these sentence flashcards of just learning the whole sentence, I've been noticing this stuff more in my immersion. So when I'm reading stuff, it's just been really cool. Okay, so what has improved the most? My listening comprehension, how natural conversations feel now. Yeah, so like I've done a lot of talking to ChatGPT to help me like come up with stuff, and so it kind of knows me a little bit. So I want to see if I agree with what it says. Yeah, I mean the biggest thing is listening comprehension. I mean and it makes sense, right? When you spend 2,000 hours reading, it's obvious that you're going to get better at reading. And a lot of people that are really good at speaking struggle with reading. So it feels good. I've been told by people that like, wow, I was actually surprised that you were able to like read those words. And that stuff has really made me feel good about it. And I'm like, well, it makes sense because I've spent all this time reading, and it's not like I understand everything that I read. I still struggle, but it's just become more and more easier to be able to listen to things. And I remember like that feeling, like this one specific video that I've watched a million times, and you always see me like have it on here. This video right here, which is a video of this guy interviewing people about how they got good at Japanese. It's been very motivating for me to look at this video, and I've probably seen this video like 50 times. And so I remember when this video used to be so hard for me, and that was probably, yeah, in like 2023. I didn't understand crap from this video, but I can like follow along and like understand basically everything they're saying in this video. That has been like the best feeling in the world. So that's how my comprehension has definitely skyrocketed. And again, to understand like what all of my tutors are saying, if I would have like started taking my tutoring lessons like way earlier before I understood things by doing all of that like immersion, right? Which is 2,000 hours or so. Like if you can't understand something, like how could you possibly start to produce it? So that's why comprehensible input is important, to be able to understand first before you start speaking. But now I'm finally starting to understand like, okay, I need to start speaking more, because this isn't never going to happen unless I start speaking more. The struggle that everyone has is like, okay, so what's that perfect ratio of like, how much should I listen to before I start speaking? And then there's people that swear up and down that you should speak from day one. But I just think that you probably should do some listening before, but I don't know exactly how much that is. But maybe it is around 2,000 hours of like good, like active studying, active listening, to finally get to the point where like, I know what Japanese sounds like. I might not have the best accent, but it would probably be a lot worse had I not listened to so much Japanese. Moving your mouth is a completely different feeling. Also, to be able to speak those words that you want to speak in real time, it's going to take practice no matter what. So in that way, I kind of doubt people that say that they didn't do any speaking and they just magically started speaking. I'm like, how? I don't know. I'm not saying they're liars, but I'm just saying how. And that's kind of the internet is always like back and forth with that kind of stuff. So I don't regret not speaking earlier, but I think maybe a little earlier I should have started speaking. But I'm glad that I did spend a lot of time just trying to get as much input as I possibly can. Obviously 2,000 hours is not that much, right? Like they say it takes 10,000 hours to get really good at something. I think honestly, it would probably take me somewhere like in the 5 to 7,000 range for me to get really like, oh man, I'm feeling really confident. But I'll let you guys know, right? That's what I made this channel for, is that you'll know once I get to that 7,000 hour mark or that 5,000 hour mark where I'm at, how I feel. We're gonna keep doing these long ass update videos. Yeah, so again, listening comprehension and reading ability has obviously gone up the most. Not like I still have to do a lot of lookups, but it's getting a lot better. Yeah, intuition for grammar slash phrasing. I had ChatGPT like do a mock like JLPT like test. I don't know how accurate it is, but I just thought it was interesting. I think it said it thinks I'm around the N2 level or something like that. N2, which I'm like, okay, that's like pretty good. When it comes to speaking, I'm still very bad though. But I haven't taken the JLPT, so I can't say that, oh, I'm an N2, but I think I'm probably N3, N2 or whatever when it comes to that. But yeah, my comprehension is way above my speaking. The thing is about JLPT is that like you actually could be really trash at speaking and still pass it. Take that however you want. Yeah, what feels challenging? What feels challenging? Speaking speed and sentence formation under pressure. Yes, absolutely. That is spot on. I could probably count like 1,000,000 times during like my tutoring lessons, and and I haven't taken a lot of tutoring lessons. Like 50 is not that much within the past few years. But I found myself being able to pick up like stuff that my teacher was saying because of the comprehensible input that I've had up until this point. When something clicks, it really clicks. And that phenomenon is so inspiring too. And I talked about this in my previous videos as well. When it clicks now, it really clicks. And it's like, I don't lose it. And when I gain something, I really gain it now. Instead of just like everything is new, you want it to be familiar. And that's what comprehensible input does. It makes it familiar. So when you really get it, when you really understand it, because you've seen it so many times, like a grammar point. I've read it a bunch of times, but it didn't really quite make sense to me. So when it is finally explained to you in a way that makes sense, and that way could be different for everybody, it really does stick. What you expected at 2,000 hours versus reality, I still feel like 2,000 hours is just too low. It's too low. I need to get more time. And it just like shows you how much time Japanese does take to actually learn when you're doing it, at least through my method. Honestly, if I was put into an environment where I was forced to use my knowledge that I have now, I think my speaking ability would skyrocket like so fast. Say like I moved to Japan right now and I was forced to go work at a restaurant or just be in an environment where like they literally wouldn't learn English or like let you use English. I think my ability would skyrocket tons. But, you know, I'm a full-time YouTuber and, you know, family, friends, and me wasting all the time. So there's a lot of time that I waste on the table, and it's something that I'm always battling to get better at. I can recognize how much progress I've made every year. The silent period effect and why it's longer than people expect. Well, I kind of already did talk about that. The silent period, it's going to make your accent better. It's going to make your just understanding of knowing what Japanese sounds like. It's going to make it perfect. Not to say that my accent's great. My accent's probably not that great. I'm just saying that I think it would be a lot worse. Like, konnichiwa. Obviously, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying konnichiwa minasan, konnichiwa, kyo words. Anyone ever seen those videos? I like that guy. He's funny. Like there's people in Japanese, they're very perfectionist about that kind of stuff. And I don't think you should be. Like if you're happy with how you sound or whatever, then you should be. There's always going to be someone better than you, right? And so that's never going to happen, or that's always going to be a thing. And it's not really gonna worry me that much. I just want to be able to express myself. I don't want to sound the best, even though, yeah, it'd be cool to sound like perfect Japanese, but that's not really my goal. I think that's something that I'll probably work on later on whenever I finally feel like I can express myself clearly. So after I took that mock test and they said that they think that I'm around N2 or something like that, ChatGPT is weird. It's like, oh, your listening is good. It's like, well, you didn't say anything. This is reading only. So like, I can't really test my listening through the N2. So like, yeah, I think my reading might be better than my listening, but I think my listening has definitely gotten a lot better, and it's way better than my speaking. So that's how I am there. So I don't know if I would pass the JLPT because the JLPT would require for you to listen. I think I could probably get close, if anything. You know, maybe. Never took in it, so I don't really know. What I've been doing recently, so yeah, the new thing is I've been using Migaku to create these sentence flashcards. I can't do too many of these per day because, again, it's translating whole sentences. So I'm literally trying to memorize an entire sentence. I'm gonna start doing more tutoring sessions. I'm gonna record them and I'm gonna do a whole thing on that. But I don't think this is a half bad strategy to get better at speaking. Other people have talked about similar things like this, so I've just been trying it and I've been really enjoying it because it feels like I'm really starting to be able to put stuff that I know together. I think once I start getting like a lot more cards, like it's gonna get better. I really do think it'll help me whenever it comes to wanting to say what I want to say. I would say one of my main focuses that I would like to do, like other than just speaking, I want to make more Japanese friends. I literally have one Japanese friend, kind of, and we played games a few times, and we haven't played in a few years, but it's like we still keep in touch with each other. And I try to get on like Hello Talk and like talk with people, but a lot of it has been like girls, and I think they want to date and stuff. And I'm not saying that, really not saying that to sound like, oh, they want to date me. Like, look at me, okay? That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying that like, that's a big problem on that app. There's nothing wrong with being friends with a girl, but I just want to make more guy friends, I guess I want to say, because, you know, I don't want any miscommunication. So I literally, like on my profile, I'm like, no dating. No dating, because like, you know, some of the vibes that some of the people that have reached out to me, you know, maybe they're looking for someone to meet or something, you know, I don't know if that's true, but it's just the feeling that I've gotten. So like, to clarify, like the friend that my only Japanese friend that I really do have is a girl, and I know it's not for like dating or anything like that, so that hasn't really been a problem when it comes to that. But I'm just talking about general like chatting apps for learning, language exchange apps. I think if I want to make some really good friends on that, it takes like a lot of effort to really reach out to so many people. Like you probably have to reach out to hundreds of people before you finally get that one or two actual people that vibe with you, you know, that don't want to do whatever that's not Japanese. Everyone says that about Hello Talk. So I've also been wanting to try to go to VR chat. I think I want to try to do that pretty soon. If I can get over my nerves of like, oh, what if they think I'm bad at Japanese or something? It's really hard to get over that. And I'm sure you guys relate to that. I just don't want to be judged, and I gotta get over it. When it comes to tutors, it's like not a problem at all, because I know they're not gonna judge me. I'm literally paying them to help me. I just gotta get over it. I know I do. So, hey, are you Japanese? Not even just are you Japanese. I think if you like are fluent in Japanese, hey, you like playing Arc Raiders, or you want to play some Deadlock? Hey, reach out to me. Maybe we can become friends or something. Maybe we'll do some applications for friends, huh? I think ideally I'd want to make friends that don't know a lot of English, so that way we can benefit each other by teaching each other by just hanging out. For me, like that would be the most ideal situation, is I want to make a friend who literally can just like, we can chill. It's not about learning, but you will learn, if that makes sense. So that's the ideal. That's what I want. It just hasn't really happened yet, except for that one friend. We just haven't played a lot. We need to play more, but I don't think she's watching this. But if she does, hey, we need to play some more. Okay, so what you think helped the most? Emerging habits, 2,000 hours of exposure. Well, of course, that's great. Following your passion for Japanese content, vlogs, games, audiobooks. I mean, yeah, so, you know, not just like following textbooks. Like I said, what drew me to Link is like, felt like I was actually doing something in Japanese. Like I was actually reading stuff that I actually wanted to read. So even if I don't understand a lot of it, I started to understand more and more and more. Like I said, I've cried at visual novels. I've cried at visual novels, and I'm like, I'm so glad I read this, man. And it's just like, how could you not enjoy just like watching YouTube videos and playing games? So that's been great. And that's kept me very, very motivated. So if you're struggling to get motivated, like get yourself Anki, Migaku, Link, you know, and start like importing stuff, man. Start using that for your learning. If textbooks aren't your thing, and some people it is their thing, and hey, more power to you, man. I'm not trying to judge you. Yeah, one thing I'll say about like these sentences too, I've done a lot of Google searching on a lot of these, and I can confirm, and again, I've seen some of this stuff out in the like stuff that I've been immersing with, and so I feel like it's pretty spot on. I'm sure it's not perfect. I want to also get a tutor and like help like go through these sentences and see if I can make them better. Like, are these natural? Are these like actually correct? But ChatGPT is pretty good, man. And it's a tool that people did not have not that long ago. So I think I could trust it mostly. I'm sure there's some errors somewhere, but I guess if I get good enough at Japanese, I can figure out what those are. What you wish you had have done earlier. Start speaking sooner. Yes. I really did think I should have spoke a good 500 hours ago. Not. That's true. I think I did speak 500 hours ago. Maybe after the first 1,000 hours or 1,500 hours, maybe, yeah. I think maybe it's a good time to really start speaking. It's not like, doing more immersion is never going to hurt you. That's the thing. It's never going to hurt you to be able to comprehend more. It's only going to help you during your tutoring sessions. It's very helpful to understand what a person is saying to you, because if you can't understand what they're saying, how are you going to produce something that they understand? So it's really back and forth, but you're going to need to be able to speak too. So it's a catch-22 kind of thing. It's very frustrating, man. Yeah, so obviously I've been focusing on output specific training. yeah, I'm gonna do this more. I need to jump back on it, add more cards because my reviews were getting a little bit too much. Plan for reaching speaking fluency in 1 year. Honestly, that is my goal. I want to speak, like, at least be very conversational, like fluent, to where like I feel like I can express myself in most things. Maybe not native or anything like that. Of course not native. That, like, nobody reaches that, but to really be like, if someone talks to me, I can easily just be like, yeah, hey. I think if I keep with the tutoring and I keep with the flashcards, doing the sentences, actually learning from my mistakes, that will definitely skyrocket my progress. I don't see how it couldn't. So according to ChatGPT, advice for viewers learning Japanese: input is king, but output is the bridge to fluency. I would say that's not too crazy. I pretty much explained why I think it's important, and just off of my experience, right? My failure to not be able to produce what I want to say, I'm like, yeah, it's because I haven't practice speaking enough. Don't compare timelines. That's another really important thing. Everyone hits skills at different times. So like if I compare to myself to Matt versus Japan, who his story is, he started when he was like, I think 17 or 16 years old, who was able to spend 6 to 8 hours a day. Yeah, I've said this so many times. If I'm able to like literally quit YouTube and just become a monk and just study Japanese every single day, all day, every day, obviously I would skyrocket. That's another thing that I was thinking of recently as well. So like, even though I started studying technically in 2019, the amount of hours you put in every day is going to make the biggest difference. The more years it takes for you to get better at something, you will obviously learn information and you will retain it. But I feel like the more information you learn in a shorter span of time, so in other words, if I would have spent more hours within like the first 2 years, that would be more effective, in my opinion, than if you were to drag all of that out in the long term. Because what about all of that stuff that I learned and I forgot, right? Because I'm not going to retain everything that I learned, but if I learn it in a shorter amount of time, I'm probably going to retain a lot more of that information more. Like, does that make sense? Am I making sense here? By taking too long, it makes it slower. Like, obviously it's slower, but I'm saying it also hurts you because you take too much time to do something. Like, you will get there. I'm not saying, like, you know, when it comes to losing weight, which I compare these two things a lot. Obviously, if you create a good habits and over time, your weight will go down. But if you just really go hard at it, it doesn't have to take long. So like, that's the one regret that I wish I could change. So like, I just wish I could go back in time, and I can't do it, but I wish I could just go back in time and tell myself just like, hey, maybe that gamer score is not that important, right? You're gonna want to learn Japanese later, so stop playing so much Halo and start learning some Japanese, and then I would be fluent. But I can't build the time machine, unfortunately. So if you especially are younger, in the range of 15 to 20 years old, and you really want to learn Japanese and you have all the time in the world, you don't have a job, you don't have kids, you don't have, you know, responsibilities of any kind, please just do something that's going to make, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, I'm so glad I did that. Please, I'm begging you, have fun, enjoy your childhood. I'm not saying don't do that, because that's very important too. Please go get a skill of some sort and just do it, and you will thank yourself. You're like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't waste all that time. On the other hand, I'm so, like, I love video games, and so like, that's also shaped my life. So it doesn't do any good to regret stuff like that, but at the same time, I can't help but just wish that I would have started this earlier, when I had no responsibilities, where I could put 8 hours a day into learning Japanese. So yeah, like, I have this fantasy of like me just retiring and just like studying Japanese all day, every day, until I got good at it. Because I would free so much time if I just got it out of the way by just like hitting it hard, man. Freaking hitting it hard. Freaking like to bop it. Sorry, bop it. But I do have things to do, you know, I have, you know, I have editors. I have multiple YouTube channels, including this one. I just hope that you guys can relate to what I'm saying and know that no matter what, like, you can't build the time machine. So it's not good for us to say that like, oh, it's like would've, should've, could've. Like, it doesn't matter. It's what you can do today, right? What do they say? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and actually the better time is to do it the next day after that. Then you can keep going and going. But the best time is today, because you can't go back. Let's grind it out, right? Shout out to Evil Dia. I've been watching his videos lately too. I need to lock it in, and I need to like really, I've been waking up earlier lately. I've been getting my steps in and like studying Japanese at the same time. I need to do it more. But I think I'm pretty happy with the progress that I've made. I think is what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, it's normal to understand way more than you speak. That is very normal. and everyone goes through that, right? But if you just study more, it's gonna be faster for you. Make Japanese part of your daily routine, not a chore. And yeah, that's true. I actually really enjoy my studying. Even if I don't do as much as I would like to, I do really enjoy it. And that's important. Enjoy what you do, but you gotta put in time. Like, it'd be great if I could just press a button and I was fluent in Japanese, but it does take work. Like, it takes work, but it can be fun, right? Enjoy the process. It's funny because I basically already said all the bullet points that they've said. I basically already said it, so it does give some pretty good information. I know ChatGPT a lot of times just tells you what you want to hear, so it's like stupid, but what viewers can expect for your next major update? Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? I know you guys probably want to hear me try to speak just like in my level, and I'm thinking about doing that. Just like, even though I'm like bad at speaking, make a video of me speaking as best as I can. It's just, am I willing to embarrass myself? I am willing to embarrass myself, but we'll see. I think I'll probably do my next like update like this in the next 500 hours. Yeah, so we'll just do 500 hours at a time. I think if I do any less, there'll be too many updates, and I don't want to do that. But for this channel, expect more of me just talking about learning Japanese. I plan on playing some games and learning Japanese words in it, like using just looking up words and playing the games to try to understand it, so we can kind of learn together. That's kind of perfect for my channel. More reactions to language learning advice videos, and just, you know, what I can learn from that. And yeah, I think that's probably what I'm going to be doing for this channel. I would like to do interviews again, so expect all of that. And if you guys enjoyed this long video, please smash like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. Yeah, leave some questions down below. Please let me know how you also relate to this. If you have tips for me, maybe we could be friends. Like, I don't know, like, I'm totally down. I wanted to use this channel to meet cool people that are doing very similar things to me as well. So as scared as I am of being judged, I would like to meet some cool people. Like, that's kind of my goal with this kind of stuff, and I need to step out more, because if I don't step out more and make a jackass out of myself every now and then, and I have done that a lot, by the way. Like, I've gone to Japan and I've froze in front of people, but it would be cool to make some good friends out of this. So it would mean a lot if you left some supportive comments down below, and just like things you think would help. I'm totally down for it. Like, at the end of the day, I just want to show my journey. That's really all I want to do, and talk about it, because it's something that I really enjoy. If this helps you, let me know. This is a long one. Sorry. I'm going to do that a lot. It's never going to stop. All right. Bye, guys.